Imagine you are an orc mercenary and you have a gigantic package. Look at this package, look at it. It's gigantic. And you are trying to bring your bounty in. But your bounty is also kind of a hot dude called Geralt. And he keeps slipping away because he's more slippery than the floor of a gay sauna during Friday nights. So you're trying to hunt him down again and again. But one day, he gets away again and jumps off a cliff. And this is where our story starts. Not only are you trying to find him again, but you're also trying to find love in a small village at the edge of the world. Endless bounty, let's go! Of course, as an orc myself, I had to check out the adventures of a fellow orc. It is basically my duty to do so. And it is quite a sight and a journey to behold what we have in front of us. The smut my fellow brother gets into was quite interesting, to say the least, but we'll get there. First, we are going to talk a little bit about the devs and what they have been up to before and after Endless Bounty. The game was made by Wolfbite LLC, a very small game dev studio spearheaded by DyneWulf. They made other interesting looking games like Engaging Destiny, Tales of Lorthiel, and have more in production, namely the visual novel, extracurricular activities, and Eternal Endeavor. All of their games can be found on itch.io, and some of them I believe can also found on Steam. I really can't verify that because I'm a German and Steam likes to block us off from smut. You have to take a look yourself which one of these is available to you. I also can't really link to the games because YouTube will have my head for it and I'm not risking that. But generally speaking, from what I've played in Endless Bounty, I will probably check them out in the future. For now, I would recommend that we just talk about the misadventures and adventures of our lovely orc Droktar. The story starts out fairly simple. Our orc mercenary, we get to know his name Droktar only later, is chasing down his prisoner Geralt, who just got away. The game starts the exact moment when our orc gives chase. He manages to catch up to Geralt just to see him jumping off a cliff and vanish into the thicket below. So what does Droktar do? He follows him down just to find himself at the edge of the world. And one day later, after trying to track Geralt down in a small village. This is where the adventure truly begins, and also the spoilers. So watch out for the timestamp on screen right now, or better yet, pause my video and play the game and come back after that, because Endless Bounty deserves to be played and experienced for the first time. Consider yourself warned. I will spoil the heck out of it because I really think it is great. Here we go. The first stop on his new journey for Droktar is the local tavern. And there he meets the tavern keeper, Losran, or how I call him, Dragon Daddy Losran. As a former mercenary himself, Losran instantly takes a liking to Droktar and wishes him good luck on his endeavor and will definitely aid him on his quest as best as he can. Outside of the tavern again, Droktar is free to roam the village and the adjacent forest to find Geralt and to uncover some secrets. While exploring, he will also meet the local fence Karth. If you follow the main story, the route leads back to the cliff where Geralt has basically landed after jumping down. There, our hero can get some ideas what his bounty is up to now. As he tracks down Geralt and the plot unfolds, the player, more so than Droktar, who is aware of it, finds out that Geralt is a werewolf and hides out in a cave where he tends to a wounded bear. Droktar decides to give Geralt a night to finish up this business and then to return the next day, just to find the bear riddled with arrows and Geralt gone. Another bounty hunter got to Geralt first, and he won't give him up to Droktar without a fight. A battle between the bounty hunter and Droktar ensues, where Droktar manages to split the skull of the bounty hunter with his axe, but in turn catches a bolt to the chest. Droktar passes out. A little later he wakes up in the cave with Geralt tending to his wounds and to his cock. Apparently that helps with the healing process, but what do I know? Seems like that Geralt is a really good nurse, you know, like this is also sorta the reveal that those two have been in a relationship for a longer time, and they play this kind of like game where they travel the road together, and Droktar refuses to turn Geralt in for the bounty and rather keeps him as his plaything. Geralt always tries to escape from Droktar, slips away, but lets himself being caught time and again because he kinda enjoys being the plaything of Droktar, and it's kinda cute and also a little bit abusive, but I guess that's what toxic relationships are made of. The game continues also after the sexy time they have in the bear cave. Geralt tells Droktar he's going ahead. Droktar has to catch up to find him again, like he always does. And Droktar, after a good night's sleep, sets out to find Geralt again, leaving the little village behind. So this is what I would consider kind of the main plotline about two star-crossed lovers that can't really admit they love each other. The story, summarizing it that way, sounds kinda short. I left a lot of smaller tidbits out, but the story is extremely well told and it's really lean, short, and sweet. And that is what I like about it. You can also unlock different endings where Droktar and Geralt fall in love, like really madly. However, there are two other possible routes to explore, and one of those is my personal favorite and headcanon. So let's just talk about the two other possible love interests you can have in this game. So what are these other routes that I'm talking about? Remember when I initially during the story summary introduced two characters that I somewhat glossed over, Lothran and Karth? They are both romanceable. I'll be a bit obtuse with both, I would claim, but to be fair, the entire game is a bit of obtuse, but we'll get to that. So let's start with Karth first. Karth, as mentioned earlier, is the local fence smuggler and overall, and I put this in big quotations, bad guy. To unlock his route, you have to sell him items and keep talking to him. Eventually, he will come around and on your face and show interest in Droktar. The Orc and Minotaur fall for each other pretty hard at the end. But I'm gonna be honest, Karth is my least favorite route in this game because it's the one route that kind of feels forced and boring, at least to me. It is still serviceable and not too bad, don't get me wrong. It is not terrible, but for my taste, it's just not it. You know, it's not it. And since we got that out of the way now, let's talk about the route that has conquered my heart. There is one love interest in Endless Bounty to end all love interests. Dragon Daddy Lothran, the innkeeper. Droktar grew up with stories about Lothran's adventures and heroics, and those made him actually pick up the mantle as a bounty hunter. So he cannot believe to meet his idol here in this remote little village that he's in. From the get-go, Lothran is friendly and welcoming to the orc, but also a bit reserved. If Droktar is taking the right steps, however, the dragon is warming up to the orc quite quickly, first treating him to a nice little dinner, and then a bath together, where it becomes quite clear that both have feelings that go way deeper than sheer admiration. Once Droktar has found Geralt and secured him, instead of following him when Geralt heads out again and leaving the village, going back to the inn and talking to Lothran will trigger Lothran's final scene, where both have an insanely hot, and I mean fiery fucking hot love making scene. After which Lothran confesses his love for the orc, followed by the possible hottest Silframe in the entire game. Some of you might remember my sentence from Polydog Patrol, where I said that I personally prefer a payoff in the heart and loins instead of just the loins. This right here, the Lothran route, Dragon Daddy Lothran, is the exact payoff I'm looking for. From the setup to the execution and the end. It is fucking perfect. Perfect, I say. And you cannot convince me otherwise. This is my personal headcanon ending. This is how it officially ends. This is the official ending of Endless Bounty in my head. And I do not care what you think. I'm sorry if you're into Karth and Geralt, you're fine. Go chase them. Dragon Daddy Lothran is mine. It is one of the better told love stories I've read in quite some time, if I'm being honest. Maybe I don't read a lot of love stories, but that's okay. I like this one, and it was great. I stan Dragon Daddy Lothran on this channel, as the Zoomers on the internet say today. If we just talk generally about the entire hanky-panky affair in this game, you again get beefy hunks going at each other. You gotta know if you like that. Genitals are humanoid and also different, while Karth and Drogdar and Geralt all have like humanized cocks. Daddy Lothran has a reptile slit, and there is also a red rocket to be found in the game. Personally, I don't care much for non-humanoid stuff, but I also think that Daddy Lothran has the hardest route. And that's another testimony on how strong the writing actually is in this game. And before I gush any more about the writing, I'll just talk a little bit about the gameplay, because there's actually a gameplay aspect to this too. Mechanically speaking, we are looking at a point-and-click adventure combined with a visual novel. Fairly simple but serviceable for what we are doing. You collect clues and items that are strewn about in the environment. They rarely go into your inventory. Only items for side quests and collectibles are going into your pockets. The real challenge of the game is managing time and place. The game runs on a timer. You have 6 in-game days to track down Geralt and find him. Time moves when you move screens. Once a certain amount of time has passed, Drogdar is getting ready for the night and either goes back to the inn or camps outside to save money. Certain events are going to trigger on a specific time or day. So there are events and NPCs that can easily be missed, not to mention that the map of the environment is fairly large. Expands once in a while, and it doesn't come with an in-game map. So you might have to try a few times before you wrap everything into a nice bow. That being said, it required me a little trial and error before I figured out what the game actually expects of me. It is obtuse, but not to the extent that it gets too much in the way. I think it was a deliberate design decision to stretch the playtime out a bit, but it is not so egregious that I would subtract any points for it. The game remains always fair. It gives you some clues and hints where to go next. You just have to read carefully, and just by exploring everything, you will be able to find Geralt in the end and unravel the mystery of this environment. It gets a little bit more complex when you want to woo Lothran or Karth, since there are very specific pre-requirements to fulfill so it happens. Overall, the gameplay is very serviceable, nothing too deep, and it is more dependent on outside circumstances than your inputs, but I can vibe with that since the game is fairly short and you still get a lot of mileage out of it if you explore every path and obviously also every hole there is. Especially when you go hunting for secrets, or want to see every route. The visuals are a combination of beautiful pixel art and drawn still frames in the visual novel sequences, and I love it. While the pixel art in the gameplay is good, I have to talk about the drawn art because holy fuck is it good. And to show you how good it actually is, I will now talk obsessively about one still frame for the next few minutes that could be considered a spoiler. It comes from Losran's route, and damn, it is absolutely beautiful. Skip to the timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled. Look at this! Look at it, it's perfect! Look at those two hunks almost embracing each other. Look at those tectonic plates crashing into one another, creating so much friction they are gonna blow up the entire universe. Look at Losran's face and his eyes, the anticipation and expression of feeling wanted by the young stud next to him. I especially like the facial expression here because it communicates so much with very little. The older, more mature and experienced mercenary knows exactly what is about to happen and he needs it. There is a longing in his eyes, not just for sex, but also for love and feeling loved. And he likes the young, more inexperienced mercenary in front of him. You can see that. It is an amazing gaze portrait here. His body is slightly shifted backwards, showing Droktar to take the lead. And Droktar's face also communicates anticipation, but he is also curious. He's the younger one. He's the more playful one. The one who wants to explore the possibilities ahead of him. He looks forward to meeting his role model in a very different way. A way he has never imagined. And so he's also eager to take the charge and show the older mercenaries what he can do and what he's made of. It is just one of many beautiful frames that I lost myself in while playing Endless Bounty, marveling at the great arts for minutes at a time or even longer. I love it, and I hope I could convey why. The art in this game is amazing. Now that I gushed over the art, let's tackle the sound real quick. The music is good and suitable moody for the scenes it's been created for. One track almost made me burst out laughing because it is so blatantly inspired by Mega Man 2, it's almost adorable. It's not a bad thing, I think it's great, but the inspiration is very clear. Endless Bounty is short and sweet and left me wanting more. I want to know how the story of Droktar and Dragon Daddy Losran continues. If we will ever know that is obviously up to the devs, but I do see a lot of potential there for an amazingly told love story in a sequel. The foundations are there and I make it short. I highly recommend Endless Bounty just for the storytelling, the writing and the art alone. It's really one of the better smutty stories I have read in recent memories overall. And as I said, the Losran route is just absolute perfection. Endless Bounty gets a 9 out of 10 Dragon Daddies. Now go and crank one out. See you all soon. Hey everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a bit of a more edited video, not like the last one that was kind of like quick off the cuff with furry shades of gay. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, a like, maybe subscribe if you enjoy what I'm doing here on the channel. I said that multiple times, it will not always be about this topic, so gay furry stuff, let's put it that way. But I'm working on multiple videos right now, and I try to crank up my output during 2024 a little bit more than I did it during 2023. This is my first effort, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you wanna just hang out or whatever, I stream every Friday, Saturday on the platform, on this channel. So check that out if you want to. I play video games and talk to the audience mostly. I'm more of a gaming streamer, you know. If that's your cup of tea, then come over, chat with me, chat with the audience, and let's have a blast together. And I want to thank my patrons, and at this point, you make all this possible. I really appreciate the support that you all have given me. And yeah, that's it. I've been TheOrcosaurus. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You've been amazing. I'll take my leave. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.